Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Greetings. I'm making this video because last night I spent some time speaking with some beautiful women in a beautiful group, and I saw their heart, and it really touched me. And so I said, if there's any way that I can help, let me help. And so I'm sharing this information. The information I'm going to share with you today is really about the four basic components that are absolutely necessary if your intentions are to have a healthy, happy baby. Some of them you may be aware of, some of them you might not have ever heard of before, never considered in the way that I'm going to share it with you. So I will begin with first telling you who I am. My name is Janelle Lewis. I am the founder of Legacies of Health, and for many families, I'm considered the preconception doula, or called the preconception doula, just because I am really passionate about helping people honor their design so they can really craft and conceive and birth the life that they desire. So with that said, let's jump into this. All right, so the number one thing that every person who is intending to have a healthy, happy baby must have in place are the building blocks. And so I'm going to use the analogy of a building, and I want you to consider the most ornate, perfect, beautiful building, whether it be the Taj Mahal, or it could be the pyramids and the majesty of the pyramids, or it could be the Eiffel Tower, whatever an amazing building is to you that you're just like in awe of it. Picture that, because you're even better than that. That's pretty cool. But all of these buildings have some components in common with you, and so we're going to talk about that. The first thing are the building blocks. The building would not exist if it did not have the actual materials to be composed of, right? Well, for your actual body, the same thing happens. If you don't have the necessary building blocks, whether it be the proteins, the carbs, the minerals, the vitamins, amino acids, which are the smaller building blocks of proteins, whatever it is, good fats, which is a huge one when it comes to fertility health, good fats. If you don't have all of those components, you're not going to build a really good building. And so if your building isn't good, then you can't then build another building, which is in essence what having a baby is. You're building a being, right? So the first thing you want to definitely have in place would be really, really great building blocks. And that would be accomplished through eating the best quality food in the, appropriate amounts for you. All right, so and I'm going to remain rather basic because otherwise this video will get rather long. But that's the first thing. You want to make sure that you have the appropriate building blocks in place. Second component that every building had to have in place in order for the building to exist, and you also need to have in place, would be the actual workers. You've probably driven by like a construction site and it was raining or something, so you saw all the materials there and they were just kind of stacked there, but no work was being done. So the building wasn't being built. Same thing for you. The only way that those materials get moved around are by the actual workers. And you only have one set of workers in the body, and those are called enzymes. You have hundreds of them. Some of them are there to cut up your food. Those are the ones that you'll find in your mouth, like amylase or pepsin in your stomach will help, cut up the protein in your stomach. So you have a bunch of them. But if you are deficient in any of the workers, you're also deficient in the work getting done. Does that make sense? So you can have great materials, but if you don't have the actual workers to do the work, the materials don't move, and so the work doesn't get done. It's not something that's often discussed in conventional sciences because, unfortunately, it's not part of the training that happens at the medical school level oftentimes, unless it's a really forward-thinking physician or something like that. And I've met a couple of them that are pretty forward-thinking, but with that said, the third component, which we are just now starting to pay attention to here in the West, but the Eastern cultures have been all over it for thousands of years, so it's pretty cool to see the bridging of these two worlds finally, would be the information part. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, that's the DNA. It's bigger than the DNA. The DNA, based on the most recent science, again, which is also proving the old stuff, is called epigenetics. 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 Epi just means around. genetics. So what are the things surrounding the genomes or around the genomes or your genes that affect how they're expressed, affect how they operate, affect how they inform the workers to actually do the work and move the materials around. And what we're finding, or what they're finding, what we're all discovering, right, is that the epigenetics part is absolutely crucial. The energetic application of that is mind-boggling. It's actually pretty cool to think that it's not just what your genes say you are, it's what you're experiencing in your life that then informs your genes on what to tell the workers to do with the materials. I'll say that again. What you're experiencing in your life is imparting information to your system at all times. So all of your sensory organs are pulling in information at all times that then inform your actual DNA. I know it sounds kind of sci-fi. I know you're like, what? Yeah, trust me, go look it up. Your experiences inform your DNA on what to then tell the workers to do with the materials. So if you're experiencing things that are telling your workers not to work properly, then they're not going to work properly. Really simple. And so some things that you can do around ensuring that your information that you're receiving is good, to tell the workers good information, would obviously be things like around getting enough sleep, because not getting enough sleep has its own effect. We all can do with probably a little bit more sleep. Eating quality foods. A huge thing that I always tell the people that I work with is, please eat fertile foods. And it's bigger than fertility diets. Your food must be fertile. So for an example, if you're eating, like, it's getting warm now, so soon it's going to be watermelon season. If you eat seedless watermelon, you're eating barren fruit. Think about this. The seeds are the actual seed, right? Baby, a potential baby, a potentiality of that watermelon. But if the watermelon doesn't have seeds, how would that watermelon have more watermelon? Process that. So every time you're eating some type of seedless variation of something, you're eating infertile food, but that food is informing your body on what's going on in the environment. So you're informing your body to some extent that infertile is a more efficient way to be in this time, in this experience. And that's just one of the things that inform your body. So it's pretty extensive, but they're manageable if you know what to do. So I'll just quickly review. Must have your building materials, good foods, proteins, fats, carbs, those kind of things. Must have good workers, enzymes. You get that from eating like more raw foods, more raw vegetables, drinking plenty of water that keep them activated would be also very helpful. And the third component is making sure that the information that is being imparted to your DNA that then tells the workers what to do with the materials is that of like balance, right? Fertility. So let's just go with that. I'm going to stop here because I see that it's already almost 9 minutes. Like I said, it could have run a lot longer. But if you have any questions, feel free to inbox me at Janelle Lewis. And we go from there. I'll definitely be making more videos because, like I said, I saw your heart and I want to help in any way that I can. All right. Be well.